Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Very happy Friday to all of you. And a quick shout out to my newest patrons, Danish, Paul, Bruce, Phil, and Donnie. Greatly appreciate your support. First up today, we have this patent making its rounds from Tesla titled Generating Ground Truth for Machine Learning from Time Series Elements. Simply put, just think auto-labeling for machine learning. Now, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe this is only a published patent and not yet a granted patent. So as you can see, this was filed April 20th, 2021. Now we have a published date of November 4th, 2021. Typically, A1 is still a published patent, where if you see B1, that will oftentimes mean a granted patent. And simply put, published means available for public understanding to further development, and then granted is where you actually get the legal protection. So the full patent is linked below if you'd like to dive in. And as Sawyer mentioned, this is Ashok Elliswamy, who is now the director of autopilot software at Tesla, where he has been now for almost 3 years. And prior to that, he's been in different software roles and engineering on the autopilot team. But the big takeaway here is please show me another car company that is doing stuff like this. Next up, Mayor Frank Scarpitti said, "Welcome Tesla, we look forward to your official launch. You are a great addition to the future car cluster of companies in the city of Markham in Canada." And in this image, I'm delighted to share Tesla Canada is joining our already robust automotive and technology ecosystem by locating a manufacturing facility in the city of Markham. The facility will be the first branded Tesla Canada manufacturing facility in Canada and will produce state-of-the-art manufacturing equipment to be used at the gigafactories located around the world in the production of batteries. So here we have the city of Markham getting a Tesla factory that will reportedly be used to essentially export machinery for, once again, presumably the 4680 battery cells. And on a map, here is Markham with the red pin just north of Toronto. So here we have some rumors that a Model S Plaid might be being towed to Mercedes so they can reverse engineer it. Just so you guys know, there's really no need to panic and think that people are just going to start copying exactly what Tesla is doing. Even if they wanted to, they can't. Sure, maybe the hardware things are a bit easier, but once again, there are many proprietary things that Tesla has created, and it's actually the machines that make those things that are also proprietary. So it's not like these companies can go just buy these machines because they're not for sale. Tesla makes them in-house. And you have to add two other huge limitations for any companies that would want to try to copy Tesla. One would be software, very difficult to just copy from reverse engineering a vehicle. And two would be the ability to produce at any sort of scale. Once again, could they build a Model S Plaid prototype? I would argue probably not, but even if they could, that being compared to producing them at scale is a totally different thing. So just wanted to use this rumor as an opportunity to get that out there. Next up, we have some more changes to the Tesla design studio and some price increases. Simply put, all of the Model 3 and Model Y models have increased $1,000. S and X remain unchanged financially. Additionally, all Model X and X with base options now have October delivery, delayed previously from June. Any other paid option other than full self-driving will bring delivery back to June. For the Model 3 and Y vehicles, MSM or Midnight Silver Metallic is now free, and the white paint color also remains free. Black paint, however, is now a $1,500 upgrade, and the estimated delivery date for the Model Y Performance is now bumped to January of 2022 from December previously. And taking a look at Rob's chart for price increases, you can see the Model 3 standard range, or now the base model, is up $7,000 from the beginning of the year. The long range is up $4,000, Performance up $4,000, and the Model Y long range up $8,000 and Performance up $3,000 just from the beginning of this year. So when we start to talk about this new tax credit, whether it's $7,000 or $10,000, whatever it ends up being, a lot of that discount sadly is almost taken away by these price increases over the course of this year. So it's almost like this future tax credit will just be taking us back to Tesla prices at the beginning of 2021, roughly speaking. Next up, some comments from Peter Rawlinson, Lucid CEO, are circulating today, but this was actually from an interview that was about a week ago, but for whatever reason, some media companies are now just reporting on it today. Anyway, I just want to touch on this because I think what he said is getting blown way out of proportion here. But here's what he said. 50 or 60 years from now, EVs may actually have less range. Psychologically, there won't be this sort of paranoia and dependence on public supercharging, and home charging is healthier for the battery anyway. Okay? But next up, he said, I do think there's an upside to going to large format, speaking of the 4680 cells Tesla is working on. That would reduce internal resistance, and that's a valuable step forward. But people are looking at 4680 as this huge breakthrough, and that's a fantasy. So a lot of people are taking this to think that Rawlinson is just talking trash on Tesla and their new batteries, but what I think he's trying to say here, and this is just my opinion, is that he's talking about strictly the 4680 form factor, which yes is an improvement, but as he's saying, many people are thinking this is some revolutionary breakthrough where yes, it's a step forward, but it's not like a silver bullet for EVs. Now, what I don't think he was including in that comment was things like tabless or dry battery electrode or anything regarding different chemistries. Because earlier in that interview, he actually said even that 4680 appears to be a triumph of packaging, not of chemistry. So I just wanted to provide some quick context as to what I think he was getting at. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let me know. What do you guys think? Moving on, we get some news. Tesla confirms the acquisition of a battery startup in a new, you guessed it, patent. This was a startup based in Colorado, and the company's name is Celion, and I actually did a deep dive on this company earlier back. I'll show you a clip here shortly. But this company was working on high energy batteries by simultaneously incorporating high loaded silicon anodes, nickel-rich NMC cathodes, and a non-flammable ionic liquid electrolyte, and offer an increase in both energy density and specific energy in lithium-ion batteries. And as you see on this patent, the inventors are Tyler Evans and Daniela Piper, and the applicant is indeed Tesla. This patent is titled Large Format Battery Anodes Comprising Silicon Particles. As mentioned, here's a quick clip of that Celion company by some channel named Electrified. As Dr. Molina Piper explains, enabling the next generation electrode materials will mean enabling a next gen lithium ion system design. Moreover, the strategy for attaining next gen performance must be commercially viable. Celion cell tech, through utilization of lower cost materials and manufacturing compatibility, will be 30% less costly in terms of dollars per kilowatt hour than the state-of-the-art lithium-ion cells. By approaching the problem from the view of the battery cell system, Celion achieves its breakthrough energy density and performance. Over the past few years, lithium-ion battery design changes have only been achieving 5 to 6% energy density improvements each year. Celion set out for a drastic break from the status quo in shifting away from the adherence to the same electrode materials that have been used for years. They're using a higher component of silicon material in the anode and a very high amount of nickel in the cathode. Silicon has roughly 10 times the capacity of graphite being used in battery anodes, but it also expands threefold during charging cycles. For comparison, most graphite anodes in commercialized batteries expand between 10 and 13%, while silicon expands roughly 300%. This, of course, can cause massive structural damage to the battery and compromises the solid electrolyte interface, or SEI, between the electrode and the liquid electrolyte. This phenomena has limited widespread adoption of a few technologies, but Celion has developed additives for the silicon anode, which function to preserve the battery cell's physical integrity. These chemical additives also improve the nickel cathode's thermal stability. They use a non-flammable liquid electrolyte in contrast to the flammable carbon electrolyte used in many lithium-ion batteries today. And just in case you really want to nerd out, I also did a deep dive on Tesla Silicon, which is presumably coming partially from the Celion company, so check the card above if you want to watch that video. Next up, we got some EPA ranges for the Mach E, specifically the performance and all-wheel drive versions, the Mach E GT. So the battery size is going to be the same at 98.8 kilowatt hours. EPA range will be 270 and 260 miles, and we're looking at 0 to 60 times of 3.8 and 3.5 seconds. Now comparing the Mach E GT to the Model Y, you can see Tesla has between 33 and 43 extra miles of range, with a similar 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds. And the Performance Model Y right now, $63,000 with no tax credit, and these Mach E GTs have a base price of $60,000 and $65,000, but after everything, including their tax credit, which they're eligible for, takes it down to $54,000 and $59,000. Next up, the head of Alfa Romeo has said that their first electric vehicle will arrive in 2024 and may gain a quadrifoglio variant. Alfa Romeo will have access to 4 new modular EV platforms being developed by its parent company Stellantis, and they're confirmed to offer range figures starting at 300 miles and going all the way up to 500 miles. I'll believe it when I see it. Now, I actually really like the look of some of these Alfa Romeo vehicles, and it's one of those cars that you rarely see on the road, especially in the US. So if by 2024 they can come out with an EV that is available in the US, and you like driving cars that not everybody else has and you don't see them all the time, this would be something to keep an eye on. Next up, some news on our buddy Trevor Milton and Nikola. So Nikola basically is going to look for reimbursement of this $125 million fine from, yes, Trevor Milton, as Nikola set aside that amount to potentially settle an SEC complaint, but will seek to get indicted founder Trevor Milton to reimburse the civil penalty and other costs. But Trevor is not anywhere near out of the woods, as he faces his criminal trial next April on 3 federal fraud counts. Milton is currently free on a $100 million bail. And in case you're not familiar with this story, the YouTube channel Cold Fusion just did a video on the topic. Very well done, as all of his videos are, so check it out if you're interested. Next up, a quick note on the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is a very important vehicle for this company, and it should be coming to the US here in the next few months. Hyundai has started taking pre-orders of the Ioniq 5 in the US with a refundable deposit of $100. Deliveries in both the US and Canada will begin as mentioned in the coming months, specifically supposed to be winter 2021. But this is the group company's first electric car developed from the ground up, and this vehicle will be capable of up to 3.6 kilowatts of power for a vehicle to load functionality, which could be enough to power things like home appliances or electronics during camping or power outages. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail, as I want to wait until production starts and we get some actual EPA figures, but Hyundai is expecting a range of 300 miles and a 0 to 60 time of less than 5 seconds. And this vehicle will use NCM 8 type lithium ion batteries, or the nickel, cobalt, manganese. And this is important for the US as well, as Hyundai plans to start making Kia and Hyundai electric cars in America. It will invest $7.4 billion in the US by 2025 to make future EVs, and localized production in the US will begin with the Hyundai EV in 2022, and this model could be the Ioniq 6 or the Ioniq 5. And I've linked this full video review of the Ioniq 5 below if you'd like to check it out. I personally don't love the styling, but just one man's opinion. A quick note on Lucid. They are opening its newest retail location, the Lucid Studio, at Tyson's Corner Center in Washington, D.C. metro area. It will open its doors to the public Saturday, November 6th, and this will be the 11th location or studio in a growing network of them, joining locations in New York and Florida. And we should start getting more real-world videos of the Lucid Air Dream Edition, as now some owners have them. Tesla to Lucid on Twitter is one account you might want to follow. They shared this video of the 360-degree camera, which I really hope Tesla implements at some point. But they said, aside from clicking on preset angles as shown in the video, I later learned that you could freeform move the camera to any angle you want for a live shot. And if any of you have any explanation as to why Tesla does not yet have this feature with their camera and sensor prowess, someone please let me know below. And I'll send you guys off with a new clip from Lucid, but that is all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful and safe weekend, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.